Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 654, written by Bongman31. My TV told me to shut up. So it was 2008 or 2009, I can't remember exactly. It was around the time that the USA was phasing out antenna TVs, and there was this huge push to get the digital converter boxes. I'm sure lots of you remember this. So, like many people, my family only had cable in the living room. All other TVs, including the one in my bedroom, needed the converter boxes. The converter boxes finally come, and I'm tasked with hooking them up in my room, my parents' room, and my sister's room. I get them all hooked up, and all is well for the first day. The next day, I noticed that periodically, my TV would get a large black box that would appear perfectly centered in my TV and would take up about 60 to 70% of the screen, and all anyone could see was the outer border. This would happen multiple times daily, and only ever to my TV with my converter box. My parents didn't want to go through the hassle of replacing it, so I just had to deal with it. Oh well, fine. Months go by, and my best friend would come over and hang out all the time. We would play games and watch TV daily, so he has also seen the strange box that appeared on my TV multiple times daily. Now, the news is on, and I remember it was some interview with Reverend ElGsh. I don't recall exactly what it was about, but my friend and I both disagreed and were just acting obnoxiously and talking general crap about ElGsh and whatever he was harping on about. It is immediately after that the black box takes over the screen, except this time, in white letters in all caps inside that box reads, "Shut up," with at least 8 exclamation marks. We are both stunned and just immediately stare in silence at the screen. It wasn't subtitles. It wasn't closed captioning. It wasn't a hallucination. Someone, somehow, inserted those letters on my screen at the exact moment on purpose. Who it was or what the purpose is, I have never known, and it's driving me crazy thinking about it all these years later. The message stayed on the screen for at least 2 full minutes, and then just disappeared. This was the catalyst for both of us to start our journey through all things strange and conspiratorial, and I've never heard of anything similar happening to anyone else. We tore apart the converter box later that night, looking for any kind of transmitter device or microphone, but couldn't find anything of the sort. Of course, we had no experience with these things and were just teenagers, so entirely possible something was there that we just missed. I put the box back together and plugged it back in, just waiting and hoping another message would appear or something would come from it, but it never did. Neither of us have ever forgotten about it though, and we both wish we could know how it happens and why. Case notes, file number 654. I'm not sure how much of a conspiracy this is exactly. I know there's a lot of appliances now that have recording devices, and it's possible that these were experimental. This was essentially a test run, just to see how well it could perform. And then you combine this with maybe a disgruntled employee that was tasked with listening in. It kind of makes me think about current modern day social media, where there's plenty of big tech sites that have a lot of censorship. And not all of it is automated. Sometimes individual people have to do the appeal work and actually look at what was said. Of course, we're just humans, so sometimes things are misinterpreted, or maybe just that person's bias comes through. Because really, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like someone was at the other end listening in when they weren't supposed to, and they certainly weren't meant to make their presence known, but they did. Because whatever you were saying about ElGsh was really messing with their head and pissing them off. Although maybe it was some sort of spirit influencing the EM field of the TV to generate a message, but the fact there was a black box on the TV screen many times before this message appeared leads me more towards the tech side of things and human beings. Case file number 655, written by ElGsh, my uneasy best friend. Guys, I'm freaking the hell out. I've been thinking about this for hours and I can't stop. This happened maybe 10 hours ago. I don't know if this story is exactly a glitch, but I felt weird during all of it. I made plans today to go shopping somewhere in another city with my boyfriend. I was in my hometown, waiting at the bus stop, so I could get to the city by bus. After about 25 to 30 minutes of waiting, this girl who looked exactly like my best friend comes here waiting at the same bus stop. I thought it was strange that she came by to my hometown for no reason. She lives 1 hour away and is supposed to be in a college class. She has no reason to be here besides seeing me. I thought it was her, so I went up to her to catch up, obviously. I shouted her name eagerly and went in for a hug, but this girl looked horrified. She was not her, apparently. Even though she had the same hair color, skin complexion, height, clothing style, body type, and even the same freaking voice, and of course the same face. I got too scared, so I just told her I must have mistaken her for someone else and quickly scurried away so that I could wait somewhere else. I texted my friend asking if she has any relatives that look a lot like her, or perhaps an identical twin sister whom she was separated from at birth who might have been waiting at the bus stop in my small hometown. She only has a brother that kind of resembles her, but no identical twin that she knows of. I'm not sure what happened today. My boyfriend can't find an explanation either. The thing is, I felt extremely uneasy seeing her before talking to her for some reason. Case file number 656, written by Happy Housewives 82. Time has no master. It does what it wants. When I was 17 years old, my friend and I had a really fun Saturday. She had a convertible car and we would drive around playing music and talking. We are still friends and have always had really good talks about the paranormal and universal glitches, even as teens. I have actually always been intuitive and had paranormal interactions as she has. Anyway, she ended up coming to my house and I'm the oldest of 5 kids. My bedroom was actually a breezeway that people would walk through to get to the garage, a basement and laundry room too. So usually, if a friend slept over, we slept in the TV room which had 2 sliding glass doors in the dining room. If you walked through the dining room, you would get to the kitchen. There was a wall, so you couldn't see if anyone was sitting at the kitchen table until you walked in. It was the 90s, so we didn't have cell phones, so no alarm, and there was a clock that chimes on the hour in that TV room. The clock chimed and we both woke up on the 2 couches and talked for a few minutes about our Sunday plan. Some of our friends had mentioned wanting to go to the beach, so we figured we would go call them. The clock said 8 a.m. when it chimed. We got up and walked into the kitchen, but no one was awake. 4 small kids and 2 parents just still asleep at 8 a.m. wouldn't make sense. So we looked at the clock in there and it said 6:30 a.m. Okay, maybe the clock in the TV room was wrong. We both go and lie back down talking for a few and then we decide to go back to sleep and wake up and call our friends about the beach later. We wake up this time because my sister comes in the room excited to see my friend. We hear the 2 sliding glass doors open and she comes in waking us up loudly. So we trudge into the kitchen and my mother and father are sitting looking tired and they say, "Sorry they woke up so early today." And we kept her out as long as we could. She's been up since 5 a.m. I look quickly at the clock and it's 6:15 a.m. I'm so confused, but then sometimes I have lucid dreams and very vivid dreams. So I assume I dreamt the thing before. We chat for a minute and I ask my friend if she's ready to call our friends and she just says, no, I have to go. And she leaves in a hurry. When I called her later to check in because I thought maybe something happened, she said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but..." And she proceeded to tell me exactly what I experienced. She had experienced too. And I laughed and explained I had the same thing happen and thought I'd just been lucid dreaming. We are now almost 40 and we still talk about that day and theorize on why and how it happened to both of us. We haven't told many people because we did tell our friends, but they thought we made it up and our family just said we probably smoked too much pot. We know that some sort of glitch happened and it's led me to where I am today. Bonus file, written by After Employer 5610. When a doll laughs without a doll. So when I was 7 or 9, I don't remember what age I was exactly. I had this doll that was about as tall as a German Shepherd dog. This doll had a voice box where if you pressed it, the doll would laugh and giggle for about 30 seconds. This voice box was placed in a pocket in the back of the doll's dress. Eventually, I kinda got annoyed with the voice box due to it going off a lot. Before this incident, I had thought that some stuff behind it was pressing it, or that the pocket was sewn on too tightly, so it was pressing the box when there was pressure on the pocket. So, as I said, I got annoyed by the box. I emptied out a drawer and placed the box in the drawer. I had closed the drawer carefully so as to not move the box in the slightest. After this, I went to sleep. At maybe midnight, I had woken up to the sound of the box coming from the doll. The doll I had made sure to place on the opposite side of the room from the drawer the box was in. Forgetting for a minute that I had taken the box out of the doll, I tried to go back to sleep. About 5 minutes later, I remembered where I put the box and got up to open the drawer. It was still there, exactly where I had left it. A few weeks later, I got rid of the doll. However, for a few years after that, I could still hear the laughter of the doll's voice box, and it was very loud. I only remembered this incident when I had found one of my porcelain dolls on the kitchen counter. My mom had moved it there for some reason.